Democrats joined a protest in favor of stronger gun regulation on the chamber floor last week. The demonstration came days after 6 people, including 3 children, were killed at a Nashville elementary school. Tony Waterman has more.
Democrats Gloria Johnson, Justin Jones, and Justin Pearson say their demonstration is protected under the First Amendment. Republicans say their protest brought disorder and dishonor to the House chamber. Hundreds of people gathered outside the room in support of the Democratic lawmakers chanting for gun control.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks, looking in more detail at French President Emmanuel Macron's visit to Beijing, where he sought to enjoin President Xi Jinping to play a more constructive role to bring the war in Ukraine to an end. President Macron told the Chinese leader that he was counting on him to bring Russia to its senses. But does President Xi have that capacity, and would he be willing to try and bring Russia and Ukraine to the negotiating table? Ian Williams is a former Beijing correspondent for ITN's Channel 4 News in the UK.
Clearly, China has an awful lot of influence over Russia. Whether it chooses to exercise that influence is another matter. And I think there's a lot of wishful thinking in Washington, but even more so in European capitals, that somehow China can be persuaded to play a more constructive role, as Macron put it today, that he can perhaps persuade Xi to see reason and to put pressure on Putin in Moscow. And yes, China could, if it chose to, play a critical role, but I don't see any sign of it wanting to, because it's too much in its own interests to support Putin.
The Russians dismissed President Macron's overtures, saying there are no prospects for a peaceful settlement in the conflict. Chinese and French officials say the talks in Beijing were frank and friendly. I'm Simon Marks.
To recap the top stories, Israel's carried out airstrikes aimed at Palestinian militant group Hamas targets in southern Lebanon and the Gaza Strip. The US FDA says an Indian company that manufactured eye drops linked to deaths in the US broke safety rules. Japan's searching for survivors after a Defense Force helicopter crashed. And Tennessee Republicans have voted to expel Democrat Justin Jones from the House of Representatives in the state after a protest in favor of tighter gun laws. That's the latest feature story news. Ollie Barrett reporting.
Good morning. It's KCHW 102.7 getting started on a Friday with my buddy and our soon-to-be new station manager, Chuck Ritchie. Yay, Chuck.
Good morning.
I'm Scott Allen. Thanks for joining us this morning for the Friday edition of the morning show. Chuck, yesterday you had said to me after the show with Alan on Three Amigos Thursday that you were nervous all day because I announced that you were Michelle's moving on to pay more focus on her own business, and Chuck's going to be taking over managing the radio station. And when I brought it up, you got nervous. Why?
No, I don't know if it was nervous or I was like excited, and then I got sort of verklempt, if you will. I don't know. I was like, I had all this energy, and then I just kind of, my way through the show.
No, you did really good. It was okay.
It happens.
All right.
It happens.
And it did pull this out for you in case it happens again today.
Nervous?
Yes.
First time?
No, I've been nervous lots of times.
All right. Little weather as we get started this morning.
I didn't get much sleep.
You didn't?
Oh, sorry.
All right.
I also didn't get much sleep before the show yesterday, so there's that.
Okay. Just in case it happens over here in Maine this morning, we are having a heck of a storm. It sounds like it might have died down a little bit, but as I was prepping for the show this morning, the wind was blowing so hard and shaking the house, you could hear it in my headphones through the mic. So if we suddenly go off the air this morning, it's because we are getting pummeled with gusts up to 50 miles an hour this morning. Fun, fun, fun.
Wow.
But it is melting the snow at a ridiculous rate, so that's good. And I was looking ahead to
That
next
is good.
in the extended forecast for here in Maine, and I see mid 60s all the way to 70 by the end of next week with sunshine. So,
Wow.
yeah, looking forward to that. 50 degrees for you in Chihuahua today with the rain showers early this morning involving to more steady rain by this afternoon. High of around 50, as I said, and that chance of rain is at 70%. Light rain tonight, though, 39 for an overnight low. Your Saturday looks cloudy with just a 10% chance of rain, but a high of 56, a low of 40. Sunday, afternoon light rain, daytime high, 58, overnight low, 48. And Monday right now, 100% chance of rain, but a high of 56. All right.
I saw some lightning in the forecast for today later too.
Ooh, really? That could
Yeah,
that could spice it up just a little bit. I don't see that on my end, but you never know. There you go.
Well, that's the weather app on my phone. This later this afternoon is calling for it. So,
Okay.
yeah,
All right.
they're going 4 or 5.
That time of year. All right, before we go on to some community events, I know we got one this weekend, but we'll start off with some fun stuff. And we've got your Friday lists for you. Chuck, I got the first one here, and it's reasons for me not to exercise. Okay. If you remember me talking earlier in the week, my grandmother started walking 5 miles a day when she turned 60, and now she's 97, and we don't know where she is. I decided the only reason I would ever take up jogging is so I could hear myself breathing heavy again. I'd exercise in the morning before the show, but my brain might figure out what I'm doing. Cause me to have a stroke or something. I don't know.
Might stop you.
Yes. I don't exercise at all, actually, Chuck. If God meant us to touch our toes, he would have put them further up on our body, don't you think?
I agree.
Yeah.
You know, and I have long legs and a very short torso. So my whole life, I've always had a hard time with my flexibility. But now that I'm actually flexible, I still can't touch my toes.
Really? So you've never cut your toenails? That's gross.
Yeah.
I'm picturing you with those long things clicking as you walk across the hardwood floor. All right.
Like a dog.
Yes.
You should hear me when I get excited over food.
Yeah. You know, Chuck, I do like long walks, when it comes to exercise, especially when they're taken by people who annoy me. I don't know if you've noticed, but I have flabby thighs, but fortunately my stomach covers them up.
That's fortunate.
Yeah. The only advantage of exercising every day I can see is that I'll die healthier. I don't jog. It makes the ice jump out of my glass. And I think if I tried
This whiskey makes it hard to jog straight.
Yeah. I think if I tried cross country skiing too, I'd start with a small country.
Yeah.
All right, that's as good as I got. All right, Chuck though, he's a smart guy. If you listened to trivia yesterday, he was cruising, and here he is with some new words that we need to add to the English language. All right, and I gave you these, Chuck, because you're an excellent pronunciator.
Am I?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, better than me.
Yeah, I actually like some of these.
Yeah,
I
they're
think
pretty
some
good.
of these we could put into use. Yeah.
Yeah.
So number one is aquadextrous. That's possessing the ability to turn the bathroom faucet on and off with your toes.
Can you do that?
Because we've all been there, right? I can't. I've done it. When you get stuff. Yeah.
I could
I'm
never
not gonna
do
go
it.
into stores.
All I have is a shower.
We don't need to talk about that.
All I have is a shower, and I'm only 5 feet tall, so it's never gonna happen. All right.
Oh, I'm trying to get this one. Car perpetuation.
Okay.
Car perpetuation.
Easy for you.
That is the act when vacuuming of running over a string or a piece of lint at least a dozen times, reaching over and picking it up, examining it, and then putting it back down to give the vacuum one more chance.
Why do we do that? Because I've done it.
Right. You already have it up.
All right.
I think we've all done that. Disinfect.
Okay.
That is to sterilize the piece of candy you dropped on the floor by blowing on it. Assuming this will somehow remove all the germs.
And then you toss it in your mouth.
I did that. I dropped a bottle of vitamins yesterday, and they went all over the kitchen floor, and I just, blew them off and put them back in the bottle.
Dusty vitamins.
Yeah, exactly. Elbonics. Elbonics. That is the actions of two people maneuvering for one armrest in a movie theater.
Oh.
Or an airplane.
Yeah.
It's always worse when you're sitting next to a stranger and they're being really aggressive about it. Like they're just taking up that whole thing and you got nothing.
I like to just like sweetly and gently rub my elbow next to theirs till they get creeped out and move their arm.
Or you just go ahead and put your drink and stuff right there anyway, and you're just constantly going back and forth and like brushing the cold drink against their hand. And
Yeah. Okay.
Frust.
Okay.
That is the small line of debris that refuses to be swept into the dustpan and keep backing a person across the room until he finally decides to give up and sweep it under the rug.
Exactly. Why can't they make a dustpan that gets every little bit? Why is it impossible?
Right?
Okay.
I have a pretty decent one. It has this little rubber lip. Yeah, it works. Lactomangulation.
Lactomangulation.
Lactomangulation. That is the manhandling the open here spout on the milk container so badly that one has to resort to the illegal side. Ooh.
I've even done that with the pull top ones, where you pull the cork out and just like messed it up so bad I had to go to the side and open it up.
You just had to stab it with a knife?
Yes. Lactomangulation.
Yeah. Pepier. Pepier.
Pepier.
It's fancy. I almost said Francie. That's the same thing, right?
Same thing. I'm so Francie.
That's a new one. That's number 11. That's Francie.
Francie.
So fancy, it could be French.
Huh. Right.
The waiter at a fancy, this one is Pepier, the waiter at a fancy restaurant whose sole purpose seems to be walking around asking diners if they want ground pepper.
What an easy job. Pepper?
To that, my answer is always yes.
Pepper? Pepper? Pepper. Okay, sorry.
Would you like some pepper? Wasn't there a SNL skit about that?
There was.
Phonesia.
Phonesia.
That is the affliction of dialing a phone number and forgetting to whom you were just calling as they answer.
What's up?
Hey. So,
I did that once. Literally, I had phonesia. It was like pretend phonesia, where I was calling a phone number on Craigslist to see if somebody had thought that something of theirs was stolen, and it was on Craigslist. And so they wanted me to call the number, and I called the number, and I knew the person that picked up. Uh-huh. Yeah, that was a little awkward.
Ooh, you're hanging out with a bad crowd.
Yeah, all of a sudden I had phonesia. oh, I dialed the wrong number. Sorry. This one's perfect for you. It's perfect for you.
It is, because this is the inside of my car windows. It is pupkis. That is the moist residue left on a window after a dog presses its nose to it.
All right. You could make that a little creepier and say pupkiss, the moist residue left on a window after a dog presses his nose against it.
Yes. You have to emphasize.
Because we learned yesterday it is the most hated word in the English language.
It is. I've known people that actually like recoil in disgust at the word.
All right.
Yeah. The last one is telecrastination. That's the act of always letting the phone ring at least twice before you pick it up, even when you're only 6 inches away. Well, didn't we learn growing up you have to let the phone ring at least twice?
Yeah.
Like, there was a reason for that, but I can't remember what it was.
All right. I've got the top 10 indicators that a redneck has been working on your computer, Chuck. Okay. First sign a redneck's been at the computer. The monitor is up on blocks. Outgoing faxes have tobacco stains on them. It's disgusting.
Would the fax pick up the tobacco stains?
I don't know. Well, yeah, if there was a stain on it, I think it would like highlight it and stuff. But who uses a fax? This is an old top 10.
I know, right?
All right.
Government.
Yep. A redneck has been using your computer if the 6 front keys have all rotted out. The extra RAM slots have truck parts installed in them. Another sign of rednecks using your keyboard. The numeric pad only goes up to 6. Oh. The password on the computer is hunting. The CPU has a gun rack. If you open the CD-ROM drive, there's a skull can in it because it fits perfectly. Another sign, your redneck's been working on your computer. The keyboard is now camouflage, and they will always refer to the mouse as the critter. Just move that critter right there. And moving along this morning with all the, tornadoes we've had over the past week, I thought it'd be really tacky if we did rejected titles for the movie Twister. Here comes Chuck Ritchie. Yay!
That is tacky.
Thank you.
I can't wait.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So these would be rejected titles for the movie Twister.
Okay.
Number 14 is Schindler's Twist. Wow.
It's horrible.
Wow, that is horrible.
All right.
4 weddings and a funnel. A funnel thing happened on the way to the farm. Roofless in Seattle. Wow. Field of debris.
It's tacky, Chuck.
It's tacky. Why do I do this? One house flew over the cuckoo's nest. The splintered bridges of Madison County.
Probably actually true right now.
Dead men flying.
Oh.
Indiana Jones in the Trailer Park of Doom.
I was living in a trailer park in Indiana. A tornado came through, skipped the trailer park. How often does that happen?
Wow.
Yeah.
We lived in a yurt in Tennessee, and a tornado came through. We were terrified. There was no help for us if it hit us.
All right. Did you live in a yurt by choice or by accident?
Yeah. No, it was two yurts connected to each other, and then there was also a little add-on that was like a bathroom and laundry room. It was really nice, actually.
All right.
It was beautiful. It is gosh, where was I?
You did Indiana Jones, the Trailer Park of Doom.
Okay, that was it. Wizard of Oz 2, The Search for Toto.
Oh.
Totally Gone with the Wind. I like that one. That sounds like it would be a show from the 90s. Totally Gone with the Wind.
All right. And your last twisted title for the movie Twister is
The Weather Channel, the movie.
It almost feels like that when you watch it. All right. Do you ever had a creepy roommate? You'll appreciate these tips for your roommate. All right.
What if I was the creepy roommate?
These would be things I would do to kind of freak you out, make you wonder if you want to be my roommate. First thing I do is walk around pretending to smoke ballpoint pens. I'd smile all the time. When I'm in the bathroom, I'd always flush 3 times to make you wonder what's happening. Or possibly what kind of problem I have. Every time you come home,
an hour with the toilet just flushing every few minutes.
Every time you come home, you'd find me listening just to radio static, just the static. Yep, just the static. Because why, Chuck?
That.
Why?
Because it's enjoyable.
No.
Let them eat static.
That's right. I'll open the window shades before I go to sleep each night and close all the window shades in the house as soon as I wake up.
That would freak me out.
Whenever you come out of the shower, I'll lower my eyes and start giggling. Sorry, Chuck. I'll ask you if you ever looked into the eyes of your victim. All right. Another way to creep out your roommate. When your parents call, Ask for your roommate. Just breathe into the phone for like 5 seconds and then hang up. I'll gather up leaves and throw them all in a pile in your room, and then I'll jump in them. Tell you how pretty it is.
I kind of like that one.
Not if I go to the bathroom in them. All right. I'll get a computer, leave it on when I'm not using it, and turn it off when I am. Busy, Chuck. Leave me alone. I'll fake a heart attack, and when the paramedics arrive, I'll pretend nothing happened. It's all on you, buddy.
What are you guys doing here?
I don't know. He does this all the time. All right. Whenever the phone rings, I'll get up and answer the door, and whenever someone knocks, I'll answer my phone. More ways to creep out your roommate. Whenever the roommate walks in, wait 1 minute and then stand up. With an air of disdain, announce that you're going to take a shower. And do this for like 3 weeks.
I'm going to take a shower.
Yeah. I'm going to buy sea monkeys.
You got to do the hump at the end. Yeah.
I'm going to buy sea monkeys and grow them. I'm going to name one after Chuck and then announce the next day that one died. Then I'll name another one after you. And then the next day I'll say it died, and I'll keep this up until all the sea monkeys are dead. And my last thing to do to my roommate, spend all my money on Transformers, play with them at night, and if my roommate says anything, I'm going to tell him straight to his face, they're more than meets the eye.
But they are.
Yeah, because that's their tagline. All right.
Is that one creepy?
It is creepy. So we're getting ready.
By the way, to answer Marion, yes, I am wearing a flannel today.
Oh, is that in honor of Alan?
This one's for you. Yep. It's a new flannel, actually.
Alan Milani, the king of flannel. Yep. All right, here we go.
Looks good on him.
But he should wear more. All right, top 10 weirdest statements made by prospective employees. Get ready for this in case you got to interview some DJs, Chuck.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Once a week, I usually feel hot all over.
It's okay if you're a woman.
Only once a week?
Only once a week.
Number 9, people are always watching me.
Ooh, not a good thing
Well,
to say.
If it's for a television job, that's good, right?
Yeah.
Number 8, my legs are really hairy. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Yeah. I think I'm going to throw up.
And that's when you hand him the wastebasket?
Yeah. I have no difficulty in starting or holding my bowel movement.
Good to know in a job interview. I think that's one that should always be shared, even though it sounds awkward.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel uneasy indoors. Okay. Number 4 is sometimes I feel like smashing things. Probably. I mean, if you're doing demolition, sure. Mm-hmm. Number 3, I get excited very easily. That could go either way.
Yeah, that's kind of scary.
At times, I have the strong urge to do something harmful or shocking.
Not good. Not good.
Not good at all.
We had a DJ briefly that told me that he likes to get kicked off the air. I thought, this is not going to work out.
Yeah, that's not.
No.
That's not conducive to your career here at the radio station as a volunteer. Mm-hmm. Number 1, I'm fascinated by fire.
Always creepy in the job interview.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's keep it going. Stay in the workplace. These are maybe some things you could try on a Friday to keep some wackiness in your meetings or your workplace. So first of all, name all your pens and insist that during meetings that they can't begin until all your pens are present.
And then pretend to smoke them.
Yes. Make sure, especially on a Friday, you schedule all meetings for 4:14 p.m.
Oh, that's not wacky. That's evil.
That's evil. All right. More trips for work. Develop an unnatural fear of staplers or tape dispensers.
Is that unnatural?
That is unnatural.
They're scary. No, they're not.
Highlight your shoes with a highlighter and then tell people you haven't lost your shoes since you did it.
But then you'd see how many people actually start doing it.
That's right. While sitting in your
Someone would.
cubicle, soak your fingers in palm olive. When a coworker walks over, motion him or her over. Lean forward as if you're about to say something, and they just lean back and go back to work. Page yourself over the intercom. Don't disguise your voice. Send email to the rest of the company telling them exactly what you're doing. For example, if anyone needs me, I'll be in the bathroom. Include a personal note on every email you send and do it like this. On a personal note, I'm feeling a bit tired and grumpy today. Or, on a personal note, I'm pleased to announce that I got my highest score ever on Tetris last night. I think you're going to get fired. And the last one, to add a little spice to your Friday at the workplace, every time you enter a room, sit in a chair, lean back too far, and fall over backwards. Then laugh hysterically for 10 minutes. Okay? Keep doing that. Then one day, repeat the fall over exercise, but instead of laughing, get up, look at the chair madly, and say, "It's not funny anymore." All right.
Oh, it's got snapped.
It'd be kind of fun, especially if you're like leaving.
It finally happened.
All right, upcoming events for this weekend. I've just got one on my list, and that is on Saturday, the Kiwanis Easter Egg Hunt. This is an annual event. It's going to happen between 1 and 3 at Barber Field behind Jenkins Junior Senior High School. And inside those eggs, cash and candy. All right, cash and candy. Fun stuff.
Cash. I'm down for cash. Can I go? Can I go hunt for eggs?
No, Chuck. No. All right.
Why do the kids get to have all the fun?
Oh, there's
That's
one.
ageist.
There's one more. There's Easter brunch at the Rusty Putter Bar and Grill between 9 and 3 on Sunday. All right, their Easter brunch buffet. All right.
That might be nice.
That does sound very nice. I think that's all I had in the events, unless I missed something. And if you're listening, you can always post it on our Facebook page. I think Chuck's keeping an eye on it, and we'll roll that out for you. A few news headlines I caught today. First one, you may have already seen them in restaurants in the big cities. Will they come to Chihuahua? High-waist machines that can greet guests, lead them to their table, and deliver food and drinks and very dirty dishes to the kitchen. Some have cat-like faces and even purr when you scratch their heads. Yes, they're robot waiters.
Ooh.
This was a thing yesterday.
When can I get one of those for my house?
Yeah. It's a question that the restaurant industry is increasingly trying to answer because of the lack of employees. Many think robot waiters are the solution to the industry's labor shortages. Sales of them have been growing rapidly in recent years, with tens of thousands now guiding through dinner rooms worldwide. Dennis Reynolds, Dean of the Hilton College of Global Hospitality Leadership at the University of Houston, said, "There's no doubt in my mind that this is where the world is going." He said the school's restaurant began using a robot in December, and Reynolds said it has eased the workload for human staff and made service more efficient. But others say robot waiters aren't much more than a gimmick that have a long way to go before they can replace humans. They can't take orders, and many restaurants have steps, outdoor patios, and other physical challenges that robots can't currently adapt to. With the new AI that's coming out, this stuff could scarily grow to where we're just like a movie, that there's this whole robot workforce.
I just want one of those robotic vacuums that actually cleans up the stuff before it vacuums, because I have one, but it doesn't ever get used because we have to clean the living room before we can use it.
Same kind of thing my kids go through. They've got one of those RoboVacs, and they're always complaining about it. And sometimes you'll just be sitting there, and it's not scheduled to take off, but it just takes off and tries to vacuum and then gets hung up on something. So,
well, usually it'll eat shoelaces and dog toys and pillows and blankets and yeah.
So if you got to pick up everything around the house before you run the robot vacuum cleaner, maybe you could just vacuum while you're picking up.
Right, because the picking up takes half an hour and the vacuuming takes like 30 seconds. So,
All right. Stormy Daniels, of course, in the news. And yesterday she said she doesn't think former President Donald Trump should be imprisoned over hush money related charges in New York. She had some different opinions. Daniels told TV show host Piers Morgan, I don't think his crimes against me are worthy of incarceration. I feel like other things that he has done, if found guilty, absolutely are. Daniels was speaking with Morgan for a 1.5-hour-long interview on Fox Nation released on Thursday. Interview was filmed after Trump's Tuesday arrest and arraignment hearing in New York. Daniels, whose real name is Stephanie Clifford, added that the charges brought against Trump signal that he has been dethroned and is no longer untouchable. She added, it doesn't matter if you're the president, you should be held accountable for your actions. She also said she would be willing to testify in court if called to the stand. She added, I think having them call me in and put me on the stand legitimizes my story and who I am. And if they don't, it almost feels like they're hiding me. Of course, on Tuesday, Trump pleaded not guilty to 34 felony counts of falsifying business records based on the $130,000 hush money payment made to Daniels through Trump's attorney, allegedly. Can we say
what's funny though is that amount of money for somebody like Trump is like dropping a quarter on the ground,
and it's the same thing. They really fought that fine in New York last month too, the $1 million fine for fraud or tax evasion in there too. That was just a civil case, but they got fined $1 million from the state of New York, and they really fought that one. But you think that'd be pocket change and not worth your time in court?
Yeah. I don't know.
Maybe he's only rich on, like many people have stated, only rich on paper.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been lots of reports that he's actually quite not doing well financially, but.
And I would doubt those too, because, and that's the whole problem with.
Well, he made a ton of money as president.
Well, yeah. And then he's got all the money going into the mega coffers. So that's a huge influx of cash. And that goes right back to this hush money thing. If you look at the way they report on the trail of it, that the attorney paid Stormy Daniels, and then he paid the attorney, and then he billed it back to the candidacy as attorney fees. Basically, that's laundering money, and purposely laundering money, and that's why this case came about. And it's too bad people just don't have faith in the justice system through these things, that it automatically has to be a conspiracy theory, because there's obviously a trail.
They got Al Capone for, yeah.
And I think it's going to get all laid out in front of us, so we'll all have to make our own decisions. Just a news headline. Go ahead.
Oh, they got Al Capone for tax evasion, so,
Los Angeles Times came out yesterday with Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas receiving gifts over the years from a wealthy Republican donor, and not disclosing them, including trips and stuff. But it doesn't really appear to be a crime. But they are using this to push the Supreme Court to develop a policy of ethics, which they don't have right now.
It's obvious.
How could that be created and never have some bylaws in there that relate to the ethics of the judges? That's kind of weird. That's never happened.
You think it's a body that should be based on ethics, like, first and foremost.
All right, looking at Spokane, this year the city facing a $4 million deficit for operational expenses at 2 city shelters. In 2024, that deficit jumps to $10 million for the city coffers. City of Spokane facing this huge deficit. However, the city is considering a few different options to fill the gap. This year, the city is facing the $4 million deficit for operational expenses at the Cannon Street shelter and the Trent Resource and Assistance Center called TRAC. In 2024, as I said, that jumps to $10 million, and City Council President Brianne Beggs said the Salvation Army runs TRAC at a higher cost compared to its original contract with the Guardians Foundation. Previous contract was approximately $6.5 million, while the new contract with the Salvation Army more than doubled to $13 million. This increase partly due to more people staying at the shelter this winter, with nearly 300 people staying there. And according to Beggs, it's also because the Salvation Army's standard operating procedure is to charge 24% in administration costs.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a little high, and they have been in trouble, especially in the Spokane area. There was a family in Chihuahua that left a sizable philanthropic donation to the city of Chihuahua to be used by poor people in Chihuahua to assist with various things, clothing, energy, and Salvation Army in Spokane rerouted that money, ended up getting sued and having to give it back to the program for Chihuahua. And that helped people in Chihuahua for years and years. But I think 24% in administration costs, I'd like to see a breakdown for that and why it's so high. Because I think that hurts you as part of a group that solicits for donations and grants to spend. If you get a grant, you're going to spend to help people, or a donation, and you're going to spend a quarter of that for administration. That's pretty high. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean that's Salvation Army is one of those organizations that's been problematic for years for countless number of things, you know.
Yeah. Doing good work, but maybe you should streamline your executive processes there. All right.
Yeah.
And like I said, I haven't seen a breakdown of why it would cost so much. Maybe they've got some good excuses. And that is also, in their defense, I guess, to jump to the other side of the track. That's a nonprofit who has a lot of jobs to fill, and a lot of those jobs are difficult and maybe tedious in ways, and you're not going to probably find volunteers for a lot of that, so you're going to have to go out and hire people to do some of those jobs. All right, Republican lawmakers in Tennessee, I don't know if you caught this one yesterday. This is a weird one. Voted on Thursday to expel 2 Democratic legislators who joined a protest on the House floor last week after the deadly shooting in Nashville. On March 30th, protesters gathered outside the state capitol in Texas. Democratic Representatives Justin Jones, Gloria Johnson, and Justin Pearson led a chant of power to the people from the House floor. On Thursday, lawmakers first voted 72 to 25 to expel Jones, 27 years old, one of the youngest members of the legislature. Resolution to expel Johnson failed by 1 vote, 65 to 30. But Pearson, 28, was also expelled in a 69 to 26 vote. GOP supermajority had accused the representatives of breaking House rules on conduct and decorum. Jones said after the votes, in a state which the Ku Klux Klan was founded, is now attempting another power grab by silencing 2 of the youngest black representatives. Johnson was asked why she thought she'd been spared while her 2 black colleagues were not, and she told CNN it might have had to do with the color of their skin. She said, "This is not about expelling us as individuals. This is your attempt to expel the voices of the people from the people's house. It will not be successful," Jones said before the vote. "Your overreaction, your flexing of false power has awakened a generation of people who will let you know that your time is up." All right. Kind of scary. I mean, it's extremely rare to force the expulsion of lawmakers, even in Texas. They did it back in the Civil War. Yeah. All right.
Well, when I moved from Alaska to Tennessee, that was one of the things that shocked me. You hear all the stereotypes and stuff, and you're like, oh, that can't be true. This is the 2000s. And then I moved there, and it was the blatant casual racism was shocking.
Wow.
Just conversations with people in the grocery store saying things that you're like, oh my God, you can't say that out loud.
Yeah.
People,
I spent a month in
it's
Texas.
Still prevalent. It's bizarre.
Yeah. I spent a year in Texas, and a month in Texas, and when I left, I went, the biggest thing about Texas, the only people that are nice there are the Mexicans. I'm serious, because I broke down with my RV. I was having problems with my RV, and I stopped on the side of the road a couple times. Every time I stopped, a Mexican family would pull over to see if I need help. And then I'm in the campground, and I got the hood up, and I'm underneath the RV, and a Mexican gentleman walks up to me and goes, Do you need some help? I got some tools. And anything else where you ran into anybody, they were all really grumpy, short, rude. And like you said, some of the conversations that I heard in businesses flabbergasted me. So, all right. For the Inslee haters out there, now I'm going to go ahead and say, I don't like it, but I think this is a good thing to keep people safe. Automated speed cameras. Get ready this summer for construction zones because they're coming to Washington state highways in 2024. Governor Jay Inslee signed legislation into law on Tuesday. Senate Bill 5272 authorized the use of speed cameras in work zones on Washington state highways. Legislation which passed both state houses without a single no vote goes into effect on July 23rd of this year, but the new cameras will not be used until July 24th. So they're giving us some warning time, but look for that next year, possibly a little sooner, where that if you go speeding through a construction zone, you're going to get mailed a ticket.
You know, as somebody who's been one of those guys working on the side of the street, there's so many people that don't slow down. Slow down during construction sites. Follow the speed limit. It's dangerous, you know? People get killed all the time, construction workers, for people speeding through construction sites.
I kind of get it in a way though when you hit one of those construction sites on the freeway, because they've got a cone. They've got to put the cones up for the whole day. They don't want to spend manpower going back and moving the cones, But it is kind of ridiculous when you're in a one-lane thing for 3 miles and you don't need to be. So I kind of understand why people get frustrated. But
and there's not actually anybody working. I can see that. Yeah.
All right. They say the real reason that the airlines. I thought this was kind of a neat, because I've been flying a few times now recently, and turning your phone, where they ask you to put your phone on flight mode. Why do you think they do that?
Doesn't it turn off things that might mess with the navigation or something with the computer systems in the
that's
plane?
That's kind of it, but on the lower rung, because the way frequencies work, and planes are still using basically analog radio frequencies. It's really difficult. The spectrums have been purposely split up between, say, phones, radio, TV, so that they don't interfere with each other. So the odds of a phone actually interfering with a plane are very slim. But just in case, they tell you to turn them off when you take off and when you're going to land, to put your phones on airplane mode. And it's just kind of a safety thing, because there is a slight chance it could interfere. But the actual reason is the phone companies don't want a plane full of 300 people flying over a tower and all using their phones at the same time, because you're going to hop from tower to tower and crash the phone like that. They want you using the plane's Wi-Fi.
Okay.
So I always thought it was
similar it's kind of similar in a hospital, right? Like it messes with the equipment or can interfere.
Yes. Yeah. And I know, like, some nights I'll put my my smartphone down by my old school LED radio alarm, and if you put the phone right next to it, it starts making all sorts of funny noises, and then it stops, and then it starts again as that phone cycles. So there's definitely the potential for some interference, but very, very light. But they're just worried about too many people hopping from tower to tower to tower and causing problems for the phone companies.
Well, just yesterday I was listening to KCHW through my teeth.
Wouldn't that be awesome? I remember that from Gilligan's Island.
A filling in my teeth, yeah.
All right. Wondering about all the train derailments and why they're increasing. All right. A big expose from ProPublica. This is a journalism investigative website. And they've been looking back, and really they don't seem to be happening any more prevalent right now than they have in the past. But they say the reasons why they've increased over the past 20 years is because that the rail lines are circumventing safety regulations and keep making trains longer and longer and longer. Some trains now up to 2 and 3 miles in length. And according to this story that came out, they're not adjusting safety measures for connecting that many trains. Unions are speaking out, too, about the recent train derailments and blaming it on trains being too long. I was thinking maybe it was our decaying infrastructure in the United States, because most of the stuff we have for highways...
That was my first thought.
Yeah, I mean, most stuff we have for highways were all the infrastructure for that was all laid down in the 60s, and it costs so much to fix now, we're having a hard time going back and doing that. So.
Well, yeah, I mean, except for this last one that was passed, last year or the year before, that was the biggest infrastructure bill that's been passed in over 50 years since most of our highways were first built.
Yep. Yep.
And our infrastructure is dying.
All right. Here's one. We can go back and look before the break. If somebody wants to post something on Facebook, too. Tonight's Mega Million, as we move on to Bits and Breaks, Chuck, tonight's Mega Millions jackpot has grown to $414 million.
Ooh.
So a question I have for you, since you're going to be starting a new job with the radio station in a few weeks, will you quit your job if you win the lottery?
No.
It took a long time. Would we?
I don't know.
Would we still have to pay you?
To do it.
Would we still have to pay you?
Probably not. I probably wouldn't care about it at that point.
Again, he paused. From the survey online, 64% of people said, yep, I'm quitting my job. 24% said no. And the not sure category at 12%. And definitely.
Well, I mean, it would be hard to run the radio station from a tropical paradise somewhere.
No.
Undisclosed.
I'm doing it from a bog, basically. So, no, you could still do it. You could still do it.
I'd want to find somewhere where it's 75 degrees and sunny every day of the year. Every day.
Every day.
75 degrees, sunny, slight breeze. And if I want, I could have the kind of money to make that happen, even if it wasn't natural.
Mm-hmm. All right. Based on previous comments, I think you maybe had a problem in your life with an in-law before. I know through my 3 marriages, maybe there's been some in-law situations. So,
in-laws be in-law.
All right. So here is Chuck Ritchie to give you some tips on how to get closer to your future in-laws, because we're coming up on marriage season.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So I'm sorry, is that in the email you sent?
No, that's on Bits and Breaks on our sheet today. All right.
Oh my goodness,
Right.
I'm sorry. See, I have
Chuck
it open.
is again playing catch up.
I am.
Right.
I am. Well, I prefer mustard, but that's okay.
Okay.
Okay. This is what I quit my job if I won the lottery.
No.
I'm so sorry. Here it is. I wasn't where I'm supposed to be. So we're getting to the peak of wedding season.
Okay.
And as any seasoned pro of marriage can tell you, it's important to carve out a healthy relationship with the in-laws. And here's how, according to Psychology Today. You can ask your in-laws to tell you stories about when your partner was little.
That's cute.
Oh, that's cute. Yeah. You can ask your in-laws for advice, which I actually have done, and it does help. Do you share interests with your in-laws that the children don't share? Roll with that. Okay. Teach them something. Fix their computer, for example.
Oh, no, that's a bad idea, because once you do that, they just keep coming back to you to fix the computer.
Right? I can't check my email.
Yeah.
Well, it's because you have 385 tabs open. Yeah. Show an interest in their lives, friends, and hobbies. Okay. Here's some other tips to reduce tension. You can start small, send them an email independent of your partner. Allow a good relationship to take some time. Don't personalize their initial lack of acceptance. That's mostly about them, not you. Yeah, my in-laws didn't accept me immediately. Keep good boundaries. Major decisions should be made by you and your partner, not you, your partner, and your in-laws.
Yes. Worst one ever. I had a mother-in-law come up to me after a divorce, and she says, I've been thinking really hard about this, and I think you're the one I want to keep. All right, here we go. It is KCHW Chihuahua coming up on 10 after the hour of 8 o'clock, and it's time for trivia.
All right.
The following program is closed captioned for the thinking impaired.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions. I want to have them answered immediately.
First up, trivia. Humans at 16. Let's see. Trivia. Humans at 8. What? Humans ate 16 billion of these treats last year. So, like the highest selling treat of the year. You find it in the snack section. What do you think the most overwhelming snack is in America?
Oreo cookies.
You are exactly right. There you go. Oreo cookies.
Am I?
Yes, Oreo cookies. All right, 16
I remember
billion
hearing something about that recently.
Oreo cookies. All right, new game, Chuck. This one's called Time Cop. It's time for you to play Time Cop and catch which of the followings did not happen in 1982. All right, how old were you in 1982? Can you figure that kind of math out?
4.
4.
4 years old. Yeah.
All right, you were 4. 1982. Michael Jackson released his album Thriller. The Michael Douglas Glenn Close film Fatal Attraction was in theaters. The Space Shuttle Columbia flew its first mission deploying 2 communication satellites, and actor John Belushi died. Which one of those did not happen in 1982?
Which one of those? I'm going to go with Glenn Close dying. Or not dying, but Glenn Close, I think Fatal Attraction was later.
It was. You're absolutely correct.
Okay.
It was 1987. Good job, Chuck. All right.
Because I remember that one coming out, and it wasn't. I would not have remembered that before.
All right. Are you a drinker of beer, Chuck? Do you like beer?
I did when I was younger, but not so much these days.
Not so much these days. All right.
Not
well,
so
you
much.
might not score very well.
It's too filling. It's too filling.
It's too filling. Makes me gassy. All right. Everything's better with beer. I'm going to describe some people, places, or things, and you have to use the word beer in place of a similar sounding word in the answer. So the word that's basically that you're going to need to answer is going to kind of in some way, be rhymable with the word beer, and you have to add that into the answer. Okay. So.
Okay.
All right. The name of the lead character in the sitcom Seinfeld.
Jerry Beer.
We were looking for Beery then instead of Jerry. Beery.
Beery.
Okay.
Beery Seinfeld.
Right, let's try
Beery
another one.
Seinfeld. Okay.
The capital of Germany.
Bierseldorf.
No, it would be Berlin.
I don't know what the capital of Germany is.
You didn't know?
Berlin.
Really? Okay. Comic book character whose sidekick is Robin.
Beer Man.
Yeah, there you go. Now you got it. Hey, right before the end too. A snack chip. Right? A snack chip in the shape of a triangle.
A burritos?
Yes. Wasn't as hard as you thought, was it?
No, it wasn't.
Nervous?
Yes.
First time.
No, I've been nervous lots of times.
And when we come back, we'll make Chuck even a little more nervous. Coming up, we've got Today in History. We've got a lot of special events for the weekend, including Goofy Holidays. And as well, we always wrap up the show with the odd news. We're going to take a look at this weekend's movies, too. So stay right here. Northern Lights Public Radio. We are KCHW 102.7.
You're listening to 102.7 KCHW, Chewila.
The Public News Service Daily Newscast, April the 7th, 2023. I'm Mike Clifford. The Environmental Protection Agency is tightening rules that limit emissions of mercury and other harmful pollutants from coal-fired power plants. Experts say the move will bring major health improvements to Midwestern states.
The rule change would lower emissions of toxic pollutants that can harm brain development in children and contribute to heart disease and respiratory problems in adults. Andy Knott, with the Sierra Club's Beyond Coal campaign, says the rule could help persuade Illinois power companies to shut down their coal plants sooner rather than later.
We're seeing coal plants retire at record pace across the country, and this is mostly due to the economics of clean energy and the fact that we can now move in a cost-effective manner to clean energy like wind, solar, and battery storage.
There are currently 13 coal-fired generators operating across Illinois, making up just over 20% of the state's power generation. Under a clean energy law passed by the Illinois legislature last year, all coal plants in the state must close by 2030. I'm Mark Richardson.
In February, the EPA found that regulating toxic emissions is necessary to protect public health. And a group of New York State social workers wants more funding for a veterans mental health program.
The Veterans Mental Health Training Initiative educates community providers about veteran-specific issues and cultural competency for working with them. The group seeks $100,000 to fund a position to link the Joseph P. Dwyer Veterans Peer Support Project with the clinicians in the initiative. Amelia Lochner-Malave with the National Association of Social Workers New York chapter says it's important to learn how to help providers.
So this is going to incorporate a few things, creating an evaluation of clinicians kind of on intake, seeing, where they are in terms of their knowledge and cultural competency with veteran issues.
She adds the person in this role would also create a baseline curriculum for clinicians working with veterans. But she acknowledges not everyone sees the value of mental health services if they haven't had experience with them. New York State has already invested several $1 million to expand the Veterans Peer Support Project statewide. I'm Edwin J. Vieira.
A 2022 New York Health Foundation report found the rate of suicides among New York veterans has stabilized in recent years, but there are signs that progress is fragile. Now from CBS News, Republican lawmakers in Tennessee voted Thursday to expel 2 Democratic lawmakers who joined a protest on the House floor after a deadly shooting in Nashville. On March 30th, protesters gathered at the state capitol, and Democratic Representatives Justin Jones, Gloria Johnson, and Justin Pearson led a chant of power to the people from the House floor. This is Public News Service. Iowa lawmakers have advanced legislation that would eliminate the income tax for healthcare workers who support people with disabilities.
Advocates see the measure as an incentive for healthcare professionals who might consider entering the field but are discouraged by the low pay. They call House File 264 a trade-off for the low wages. Carlin Crow with the Iowa Developmental Disabilities Council says the incentive would help companies attract and retain people to jobs that are notoriously hard to fill due to the challenging work and poor pay at an average rate of $14.25 an hour.
At a 4% state income tax, the average person might save $1,300 a year. It's not a huge savings, but, it could just be enough that it's a tax savings instead of, an increase in hourly wage.
The bill is on its way to the House Ways and Means Committee. I'm Mark Moran.
And climate resiliency could soon play a greater role in how cities in Washington state plan for population growth. The details from Eric Tegethoff.
House Bill 1181 would update the state's Growth Management Act so that cities and counties must consider climate change in their comprehensive planning. Jamie Strobel is the climate director for the Nature Conservancy in Washington.
This would require all of those plans to take into account climate resiliency, climate change impacts, planning for those hazards, making communities safer and protected and more resilient to the impacts.
Strobel says preparing for the impact would vary between localities. Some would plan for sea level rise or managing stormwater from more precipitation, while others might plan for buffer zones in areas prone to wildfires. Opponents say it will slow the process for creating affordable housing. The legislation has passed the House and is awaiting action in the Senate.
Finally, since 2017, a Wisconsin Business Leaders Foundation has helped nonprofits and municipal governments buy solar panels. Our Mike Bowen has more in this Energy News Network Solutions Journalism Network Wisconsin News Connection collaboration.
Solar for Good was established by Cal Couliard with the goal of offering grants for solar purchases. Since 2019, it's provided panels instead of cash, allowing it to obtain equipment in bulk and bring down the cost. Executive Director Hetty Brown says they're being used for 2 housing developments, slashing energy bills for clients so they can eventually no longer need the aid.
The goal of this program is to help people achieve financial stability and self-sufficiency. The clients that we serve have been relying on energy assistance payments despite their homes being weatherized.
This is Mike Clifford, and thank you for ending your week with Public News Service, member and listener supported. Hear us on interesting radio stations, your favorite podcast platform. Find our trust indicators at publicnewsservice.org.
It's 8:20.
Your KCHW morning show is made possible by donations from Chihuahua Flooring.
Chihuahua Flooring at 214 East Clay in the 3rd Street Mall offers a wide variety of products, including carpet, ceramic and porcelain tile, vinyl and laminate planks, and vinyl sheet flooring. Chihuahua Flooring carries products for both commercial businesses and residential homes, including brands like National Flooring, Dell Tile, Mannington, and Mohawk. They also offer blind repair. For more information, you can visit online at chihuahuaflooring.com, call 509-935-8021, or via email at chihuahuaflooring@gmail.com.
Your KCHW morning show made possible by a donation from God-Fearing Brothers Auto Center. God-Fearing Brothers specializes in auto services, including repair, maintenance, and detailing. They also stock a full selection of tires, make glass repairs, offer towing, and have an auto sales lot on the corner of Highway 395 and Main Street at the light. For more information, you can visit the Auto Service Center at 806 East Main in Chihuahua. Find them online at godfearingbrothers.com or by phone at 509-935-6414. KCHW-FM thanks God-Fearing Brothers for supporting public radio in Stevens County.
This is KCHW, Chihuahua, 102.7 FM.
KCHW 102.7. We're back at Scott and Chuck on a finally Friday edition of your KCHW Morning Show. Thanks for being along with us and tuning in to the radio, or whether you're watching on one of our video platforms. We appreciate that too. Don't forget, we've also got our signal going out over TuneIn and Radio Deck, where you can listen with either one of those apps on your phone. If you do have a, I guess what you call a regular smartphone instead of an iPhone, you can always go directly to the website and you will find a little player that you can play through your phone without an app on the homepage, and also on our listen and watch page too. So a few ways there to check out KCHW online. And let's move into our local birthdays as we go into the weekend. I know a lot of people probably have the day off for Good Friday as well. I know a few places are closed. And taking a look at those birthdays for this Good Friday, we have Jamie Ross and Donna Maria White, both having birthdays. For Saturday, we're looking at Gage Smith, Jim Carvello, Debbie Lawrence, Bill Frizzell, and an anniversary for John and Melissa McCanna. And then if we look at Sunday right now, looking for one birthday, Paula Martinez. And then on Monday, it's Kira Ralstead. So lots of birthdays going on, and applause for everybody. Yeah. If you know any of them, you see them around town, laugh and point and tell them we were talking about them on the radio. Then toss in the happy birthday. Here comes Chuck Ritchie.
I know some of those names, but I'm
know
not
some of
tell
those
you
names
who they
too.
are.
You got to find them yourself. We're looking for some celebrity birthdays going through the weekend. Chuck, how about you just pick out a few of your favorites?
Okay. Well, obviously, Francis Ford Coppola is 84. Wow. Jackie Chan is 69.
Wow.
Russell, right? He's old. Wow. You know, Russell Crowe is 59.
Okay.
Let's see. But Tiki Barber. Gosh, I remember when he was young and playing. He's 48. Wow. And then Kevin Alejandro from Lucifer and Southland is 47.
Okay.
If we move on to Saturday, John Schneider, one of the original Duke boys from Dukes of Hazzard, is 63. See, that's one I thought he would have been older.
Yeah.
I guess he was pretty young when he was doing the show. Izzy Stradlin from Guns N' Roses is 61. Robin Wright, Princess Buttercup from The Princess Bride is 57. What?
Just like almost an insulting name you could call someone. Hey, Princess Buttercup.
Oh, it's endearing. It's one of the best movies ever made.
Unless I'm using it for you.
Right?
Yeah.
You can call me Buttercup. It's okay.
Okay. All right.
Patricia Arquette. Only Scott, though. Nobody else. Patricia Arquette, one of my favorite actresses, is 55.
Okay.
Emma Caulfield from WandaVision and Buffy the Vampire Slayer is 50. And that's about it. Tara Noah Smith from Home Improvement is 39. Wow, the little kid.
Looking at Sunday.
Sunday. I am, one of the things I've been having a problem with, why I keep getting lost, is this. I got a new computer and it scrolls backwards.
Huh.
Like up, what's normally up is down, and I keep scrolling the wrong direction, and then I scroll too far because it scrolls really fast.
So if you go into your mouse pad settings, you can change that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just got it on Wednesday, so I've been trying to figure it out. So Michael Learned from Olivia Walton, who was Olivia Walton on the Waltons, is 84.
Wow. Yeah.
Dennis Quaid, who is actually in one of the new up and coming movies that's being released this weekend, is 69. Talk show host Joe Scarborough from Morning Joe is 60. Model Paulina Poroscova is 58. Cynthia Nixon from Sex and the City is 57. Keisha Knight Pullum, remember him? The little girl from the Cosby Show is 44.
Wow, I'm old.
Right? Charlie Hunnam from the Sons of Anarchy is 43. Ooh, he's younger than I am. That makes me feel old. Kristen Stewart is 33. Ellie Fanning, she's doing a lot of great stuff these days, is 25. And Isaac Hempstead Wright from Game of Thrones is 24.
All right.
Speaking of feeling old, so for the first time in my life, I was on Facebook and somebody posted pictures of this young baby. And my head went to well, they're way too old to be having babies. And then I read it's oh, it's their grandbaby. Okay, that makes more sense. Wow. And this is somebody I went to high school with. And for the first time, I had to realize, oh, wow. So now I'm to that stage in my life where it makes more sense for my peer group to be grandparents than parents.
Yep.
Wow.
Welcome, Chuck.
Oh, man. It was one of those realizations. I'm like,
we suck again. All right, little history. We start off for today. 1795, France adopted the meter as the basic measure of length. Before that, they just guessed.
When is America going to do that?
Yeah, we tried it once. Didn't go so well. 1827, John Walker, an English chemist, sold the first friction match. He had invented it in the previous year. 1860, on this day, Will Kellogg, born in Battle Creek, Michigan, Will's physician brother John developed cornflakes and other cereals to serve patients in his mental hospitals. There's a horrible movie about this. And Will founded the Kellogg Company to market the cereals.
It is a fantastic movie. What is it? Something wellness? The Road to Wellness?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Yeah, there was some stuff in there I'll find one when you're talking.
My family is actually related to the Kellogg's, and I have, I think, a great uncle who died at the Battle Creek Sanitarium in Michigan using one of their electrified sitz baths.
Wow.
One where you sit with your particular male bits in electrified water. And it was not uncommon for the electricity to malfunction and
kill people.
Electrocute people. And I have a
and it all happens in the movie too.
In that manner.
Yeah. Well, the star of the movie, I can never remember his name.
Matthew Broderick.
Matthew Broderick. I love the part where the guy says to him, take Mr. Lightbody to the yogurt room and give him 15 gallons. And he says, oh, I couldn't eat 15 gallons of yogurt. And he says, oh, Mr. Lightbody, it's not going in that end. All right, keep going.
I I own an electric thermophore from Battle Creek Sanitarium. It is an electric blanket with metal coils running through it that you get wet and then wrap around your body.
That seems dangerous, Chuck.
I'm not going to use it. I'm not going to use it.
Wow.
We are two wild and crazy guys.
All right, on to 1970. On this day, actor John Wayne received an Oscar for Best Actor for his role in True Grit. All right. 1999, Israeli couple hospitalized for fatigue after kissing in Tel Aviv for 30 hours and 45 minutes. Dora Orpaz and Karmit Tsubera set a world record and won a trip around the world for kissing for over 30 hours. Wow. All right, the fun one here. On this day in 2006, Osaka, Japan, a man found an unlocked door in a university building and saw a perfect opportunity to pull off a burglary. Or so he thought. He entered the darkened room. Suddenly, the lights switched on, and he found himself face to face with a huge sumo wrestler. And as he turned to run, he saw it wasn't just one sumo, but 12. He had tried to rob a sumo dormitory.
That's like a recurring dream I have.
Bad idea. All right. How about a little history for Saturday? 1893 was the first recorded college basketball game in Beaver Falls, Pennsylvania. In 1895, United States Supreme Court declared income tax to be unconstitutional, and Pollock versus Farmers Loan and Trust Company quickly changed their minds. 1904, Longacre Square in Middletown, Manhattan, renamed Times Square after the New York Times. All right. And 1986, in a landslide, actor Clint Eastwood was elected the mayor of Carmel, California. Let's see. Here's another fun one. 2001, Vera Palacio, did I say that right? Indiana. Couple who met through their mutual love of jogging were married in their running shorts after completing a 5K race in which they competed against their pastor and best man. During it, Wanda Jones and Clarence Mellon's wedding, the Reverend Dwayne Schmidt told the sweaty couple they were starting the marathon of life. Wanda's racing outfit included a white veil attached to a baseball cap. Here's a strange one. 2007. An iPod saved a soldier's life in Iraq. MP3 player stopped a bullet from an insurgent's AK-47. Kevin Gerard of the 3rd Infantry Division was on a street patrol in Iraq, and as he rounded the corner of a building, an armed insurgent came from the other side. The two of them were within just a few feet of each other when they opened fire. Insurgent was killed, and Kevin was hit in the left chest where his iPod was in his jacket pocket. It slowed the bullet down enough that it did not completely penetrate his body armor. Kind of a lucky day. Moving on to history for Sunday. 1682, Robert Calavier de La Salle discovered the mouth of the Mississippi River and claimed it for France and named it Louisiana. 1867, passing by a single vote, United States Senate ratified a treaty with Russia for the purchase of Alaska. Joke's on you.
Seward's Folly.
Yes. A 1913 opening day of Ebbets Field, new home of the Brooklyn Dodgers. Fans had to wait an hour to get in because nobody brought the key. 1959, NASA announces the selection of the United States' first 7 astronauts, which the news media quickly dubbed the Mercury 7. And this week, they announced the astronauts that'll be going up in Artemis 2. Most of us left here on planet Earth call that group of astronauts lucky. Let's see. 1992. The anniversary of this is on Sunday when President George H.W. Bush fell suddenly ill at a state dinner in Japan. He became pale, slumped in his chair, and then threw up all over the Japanese prime minister. That's horrible. All right.
I got to sit down once with one of my favorite bands, and the same exact thing happened to me.
You threw up on one of the band members?
Circumstances. I threw up on the whole band across the table from me.
Really? Yeah. Will we know the name of the band if you admit to it?
No, you have no idea.
Okay. All right, we're going to go on to special events with Chuck Ritchie, and he's going to take us all the way through the weekend. Special events and a few goofy holidays, Chuck.
Yeah. Oh, so today is Good Friday, obviously. Yes. It is International Beaver Day.
Okay.
It's metric system day. So today's the day, America, we're going to switch over, finally, after all these years, and get rid of the confusing standard system. It is Coffee Cake Day.
Love that stuff.
It's about 1 meter long.
Yep.
No housework day.
Everybody can deal with that.
That's every day.
Yeah.
That's every day in my house. I don't do housework. It's Pet Health Insurance Day. Walk to Work Day. I walked to work this morning. Public Television Day. World Health Day. World Health Organization Day. And National Beer Day.
Whoa.
Side note, International Beer Day is in August.
All right.
So mark that on your calendars. Then we go to tomorrow is Baby Massage Day. So get a massage from a baby.
Will it work if I say, baby, give me a massage? That's what I'm thinking.
Oh, and this, we are far too aware of this in our house with 4 dogs. It is, believe it or not, Dog Farting Awareness Day.
Uh-huh.
We are all too aware, dogs. All too aware. It is Draw a Picture of a Bird Day, Feng Shui Awareness Day, Trading Cards for Grown-Ups Day. So get out your Pokemon cards, everybody. And Zoo Lovers Day.
All right. You skipped Dogfighting Awareness Day?
I did. It's probably being aware of stopping dogfighting. I read that wrong the first time, and I'm like, I'm going to skip that one. But
yeah. No, it's pro dogfighting. It's Dogfighting Day.
Yeah. It's strap a knife to your chicken.
Oh. And if you don't get that, you should have listened to the show yesterday.
Yeah.
All right, on to Sunday for special events.
Sunday is Easter. Okay. It's also Appomattox Day. I have no idea what that is.
That has to do, I think, with World War II, but I have to Google it. We're bad at history. We're shameful.
Right. Appomattox? Well, I didn't know what the capital of Germany was, so.
That's true.
I do now.
And that's really scary.
I mean, I should have realized that, of course, it's Berlin, but I was having a brain fart.
It is the day that signifies the end of the Civil War, which lasted 4 years.
Oh, okay. Well, that is important then.
Yes.
Sorry, I made fun of it. It is International ASMR Day.
Something to do with computers?
No, ASMR. It's like sound. Like satisfying sounds and noises.
Okay.
To go along with actions.
Okay.
I think. Baked Ham with Pineapple Day. No, ham should be savory, not sweet. Cherish an Antique Day. Former Prisoner of War Recognition Day. Gin and Tonic Day. Name Yourself Day. And Unicorn Day. I think my new name is going to be Unicorn Gin and Tonic.
ASMR stands for Autonomous Sensory Meridian Response, a term used to describe a tingling, static-like, or goosebump sensation in response to specific triggering audio or visual stimuli, not touch.
Mm-hmm.
These sensations are said to spread across the skull or down the back of the neck and for some reason down the spine or limbs. I've had, it started, I think, after my first kid. I think you become, as a guy, more sensitive after that. And certain live music when it's really, really good. Not a fan of Elton John, but sat in one of his concerts. And when he started playing the piano, I was like in the second row, and he was in the round. When he started playing that piano and singing, I mean, I had goosebumps, my hair standing straight up. It was the weirdest. It was the first, and since then it's happened a lot, especially when I bring people into the studio for a live interview and they play and they're really good. It gives, when I'm, not recorded for some reason, but when it's live, I actually get goosebumps and the hair stands up on my arms. So there you go.
Nice.
ASMR. I'm a sufferer.
Well, I don't know if you ever look up ASMR. It's not a suffering thing. There's a bunch of, you can look up ASMR videos, and there's millions of ASMR videos that are, a lot of them are very satisfying.
All right. Very cool.
Yeah.
What else you got? Did you make it all the way through?
I believe I did. Yeah,
okay.
That was through Sunday.
Yeah, all right. There you go. Yeah. Chuck delivering to this weekend's goofy holidays, and the number for today is 5 million, and that's the tracks on Apple's new Apple Music Classical app. I wonder how often that gets downloaded.
I don't know. Speaking of, I will have to say, I was yesterday using the player on the KCHW website while I was outside working in my shed.
Yay!
It works beautifully.
All right. right, moving on to entertainment for the weekend. We'll give you a few tips on some of the shows that are coming up. First one on the list is Air Coating a Legend. And I believe this is the one about Nike. Is that true?
Yeah, this is not the one about the dog named Bud.
Okay. And it's okay. This is the history of shoe salesman Sonny Vaccaro and how he led Nike in its pursuit of the greatest athlete in the history of basketball, Michael Jordan. Directed by Ben Affleck and starring, of course, Matt Damon. Matt Damon. Sorry.
What?
I watched Team America. The movie the other night, and every time Matt Damon comes on, he's supposed to say something in the movie. He just goes, Matt Damon. Also, Jason Bateman and Ben Affleck threw himself in there as well. What's the next movie on the list, Chuck?
It is the Super Mario Brothers movie.
Oh, can't miss that one.
Which doesn't look so great. I don't know. Maybe, I guess. I mean, when Chris Pratt is just Chris Pratt as Mario, it doesn't seem very entertaining. But Jack Black is Bowser, which is going to be amazing. So
okay, all right. So Chris Pratt and Jack Black, Super Mario Brothers movie this weekend. Another one is this. I might have something to do with what recently happened. How to blow up a pipeline.
And don't do that.
Don't do that. A crew of environmental activists plot a daring plan to disrupt an oil pipeline. And this is the one that you were talking about that has Dennis Quaid in it, I believe. Although
yes.
he is not, he must not have a major role. It's Ariel Ibarra, Christina Forsyth, and Lucas Gage in the movie. But on the cover, you can see Dennis Quaid. So, all right, what do we have next?
Next one is One True Loves. It's a romance. It's got I don't know if I can pronounce it. Simu Liu. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but he was Simu Liu. He was the he was the Marvel movie with the martial arts Marvel movie. I can't remember that. Right. But anyway, looks good.
All right. Also opening this weekend is Paint. In Paint, Owen Wilson portrays Carl Nargle, Vermont's #1 public television painter, who is convinced he has it all: a signature perm, custom van, and fans hanging on his every stroke until a younger, better artist steals everything from him and everyone Carl loves. It's so sad. Owen Wilson, Elizabeth Henry, and Carl Kosapod. And I'm going to guess that is a comedy.
I've actually heard it's a little deeper. I've heard good things about it, but it looks a little silly. But I've heard it's good.
He has what's the name of that famous painter? People always tell me my hair is just like his.
Bob Ross.
Yes. And I think they're kind of picking on Bob Ross because he has Bob Ross's hair in the movie. I can see the picture right now. It looks hilarious. So, or possibly my hair. All right, that one's called Paint. I had that wrong. The weekend coming up this, it's only on Prime Video. The new Dennis Quaid movie was On a Wing and a Prayer. All right, that just kind of swung up for me, so we were wrong. But you've got one more. It's called Showing Up. Tell us about that, Chuck.
It's called Showing Up. It's about a sculptor preparing to open a new show. She has to balance her creative life with daily dramas, family, and friends. Kelly Reichardt has a vibrant and is captivatingly funny portrait of art and craft.
All right.
I said that horribly.
You did. I don't even understand it. All right. On Prime Video. On Prime Video, On a Wing and a Prayer. That's the one with Dennis Quaid we were talking about. After their pilot dies unexpectedly mid-flight, Doug White's Dennis Quaid has to safely land a plane and save his entire family from insurmountable danger. I always love Dennis Quaid, even when he's playing a bad guy. All right. Let's see. One more on Netflix.
If he's playing a good guy badly. Because he does that pretty often.
Yes. One more from Netflix, Chuck.
Actually, this one looks like fun. I want to see it. It's starring Christian Slater. It's called Chupa. It's while visiting a family in Mexico, teenage Alex gains an unlikely companion when he discovers a young chupacabra hiding in his grandpa's shed. To save the mythical creature, Alex and his cousins must embark on the adventure of a lifetime.
Oh, this could be our first chupacabra movie.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Well, we always say, because we have this dog, Sadie, and she was a feral, rescue dog, and we strongly believe she's part chupacabra. Because she's not normal.
All All right, we're going to take you into the weekend with some fun stuff. We call it Odd News.
Slap some bacon on a biscuit and let's go. We're burning daylight.
It's the world of strange. A world gone wacky.
Out here, due process is a bullet.
And some of the scariest people on the planet.
I think you're bluffing. Be afraid.
You know, you look mighty pretty when you get mad.
It's your Odd News on KCHW.
Just sit back and enjoy the show.
All right, we always start off with the news attack. First part is a true sentence. The second part is a really bad joke or perhaps even some fake news. And Chuck, would you kick us off on the news attack?
So researchers have found that doing one of my favorite things, chewing raw broccoli, and it has to be raw, not cooked, releases a good chemical that inhibits the oxidizing enzymes in our body that damage DNA and potentially cause cancer.
Okay.
Likewise, it also inhibits dating because when you smile, you have little bits of raw broccoli stuck in your teeth.
It's not good when you have green things in your teeth. No.
I love broccoli.
So why doesn't it work with the cooked broccoli? Because it changes the enzymes or something?
It probably degrades them or something, I would guess.
Mm-hmm. Another study here found that the tax deadline day may drive up automobile crashes next week because you try deducting line 52 from line 13 while you're going 70. It's the way I do my taxes.
With my luck, I would just put 70 as in the wrong line. So new report reveals that Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas has been treated to luxury vacations by a billionaire Republican donor, which is why beginning next month, the justices will have sponsorship patches sewn onto their robes.
Oh, wow. If you haven't heard, Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas was gifted cruises, private jet flights, and private resort stays by a billionaire political donor. Naturally, some people are defending him, like the politicians who also received private jet flights, resort stays, and luxury vacations. Of course they did.
Don't ruin this for us.
Yeah.
Despite the horrible way Southwest Airlines let down holiday travelers last year, the CEO's compensation nearly doubled. Wow. Which goes to show the famous quote, "Failure is not an option," does not apply to airline CEOs.
Research finds that, yes?
Oh, that happens so many times with these big companies. They fail miserably, and these CEOs still get these big, massive bonuses.
Or the bailout of 2008 was a good sign of that. They bail out the banks, and the banks turned around and handed out, million dollar bonuses because they were in, and they went, well, it was in his contract. Yeah.
Well, Russell Wilson got a bonus last year for that performance in Denver.
See, research finds that those of us include a dish of fish in our diet each week tend to see better. See, fish sticks are health food.
Agreed. A study finds that parents tend to overstate the joys of parenting. Isn't that the truth? Apparently, they've been talking to my folks again.
It was all good.
Ouch.
It's all really good.
Ouch.
One last study here. A heavy chronic marijuana user suffer memory loss and attention problems. What?
What? Huh?
Oh, according to a study, heavy chronic marijuana users suffering memory loss and attention problems. Huh. What? Is that, What are we doing? Oh,
I'm sorry, were you talking?
Yes. On to wacky but true. Once again, Chuck Ritchie kicks us off where we don't add anything fake to these stories, but maybe a movie sound effect.
So the parents of a 15-year-old in the UK received a letter from one of his teachers complaining that he was breaking too much wind. The kid said he had no idea he was causing such a stink until he came home to find his parents laughing over the note. Wow. The letter said his excessive flatulence caused discomfort to students and staff, suggested he visit a doctor or change his diet.
Much like the dog earlier today. All right. When the Mold family of Prince George, British Columbia, Canada, returned from vacation, they found their detached workshop in their yard of their rural house was a mess. It wasn't burglars that broke in, though. A goat moved in. Tanya Mold said the goat walked out like he owned the place, and it hasn't left since. She posted a photo to social media and hoped someone would recognize the animal and come claim it. So far, it hasn't worked. Local farmer agreed to keep the goat until it can be adopted. And in honor of that goat, we're going to play the same thing we did yesterday because it took me a while to make it.
If she fails us, we better get used to herding goats.
What's up, Goat Roper?
All right, Chuck, what's better than a goat? It's a platypus.
Platypus.
On a train.
An Australian man. I'm tired of these platypuses.
On a train.
Yeah. An Australian man is in trouble for taking a platypus on a train. Police say the man, accompanied by a woman, was spotted on a train with a wild platypus swaddled in a towel. The man's accused of removing the elusive critter from a waterway in northern Queensland and taking it on a train trip to a shopping center. Aww. Railway officers nabbed the man, and they have spoken to the woman who was with him, but the platypus's fate is a mystery.
Oh. All right, I'm going to play.
Do they have poisonous spikes in their mouth? Poisonous barbs in their mouth?
I don't know. No.
Yeah, they do.
Scary.
Crazy.
All right. Then I shall play the same sound effect I usually play for you, Chuck, when you join the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I present, for your intellectual and philosophical pleasure, The Creature.
The Creature. All right. Elizabeth Hayden flying home to Seattle after visiting her military husband in Guam. She deplaned in San Francisco, then realized she left her jacket on board. United Airlines staff retrieved her jacket, and Hayden boarded her final flight and decided to get some shut-eye. She thought she'd put in her AirPods and then realized they were gone. While in flight, Hayden opened the Find My app and located her AirPods, capturing screenshots as they went to different terminals, then to a cargo terminal, then down the highway to someone's home. She immediately reached out to United Airlines and the police. San Francisco airport detective finally recovered them and identified the thief as a United Airlines contractor. The AirPods were returned but damaged, and United has promised to buy her a new pair, plus give her 5,000 bonus miles as an apology.
And now I name you the winner. Or more appropriately, the loser.
There you go. All right.
5,000 bonus miles. I mean, I have a mileage plan. That's like a discount on a free soda.
All right, now
5,000 miles gets you nothing.
Drunks and a gun with Chuck.
A patrolling police officer in Carrollton, Georgia, spotted a weaving car. He then ran the plate, discovered its owner had a warrant out for his arrests, and pulled it over. The cop smelled weed and suspected the driver was drunk. What? And asked him to get out of the car. Instead, the driver took off, leading a chase, but then suddenly stopped. The passenger in the car explained why. The driver tried to throw a gun out of the window, and in the process managed to shoot him. Shoot himself, I would imagine. The unnamed man was flown to a hospital, and the driver was arrested.
When you throw your gun out the window, make sure the window's down. All right, let's go live to the scene.
Got shot.
You're gonna get accidentally shot.
Great shot, kid. That was 1 in a million.
I must tell the others. Oh no, I've been shot!
He shot me. I didn't do that. He shot me.
A bullseye. Excellent shot, Maurice.
And there you go. That is our show for today. Thanks for tuning in to Northern Lights Public Radio, KCHW 102.7. Another round of applause. Great job, Chuck.
Here, tell the encouragement, Marion.
Yeah. All right. We return on Tuesday with Brandon Hanson and my sister, Valerie Hunter. I'm Scott Allen, and once again for Chuck Ritchie, have a great weekend and keep listening to KCHW 102.7.
Nervous?
Yes.
First time?
No, I've been nervous lots of times.
Oh, is that what you want?
Yup.
Because that's how you get ants.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I present, for your intellectual and philosophical pleasure, the creature.
Also known as Scott.
We are two wild and crazy guys.
Legs are shaking, hands are aching. Head is pounding, the back is breaking.